Is that right? What are your views of public transit? What will you do to improve transit service?
Public transit is critically important, and we need it not only in our core urban areas where we talk about high-speed rail and those high-speed connectors and bus systems that connect the community to the mass transit. It's important for our workers so that they can move to their jobs. It's important for our environment so that we can keep the pollution down and protect our climate. But we also have to think about how we provide mass transit in the rural areas and what kind of small vehicle transportation we can arrange. We're an aging population here in the state of Michigan, and we have to make certain that people can move to their grocery shopping and the hospital appointments, and that is going to take some real planning. And so when we talk about mass transit, I would like for us to think beyond the high-speed rail and also think about the little jitney-type systems that can run around the rural areas or the suburban areas of our communities and provide that opportunity for citizens to connect with their life, whether it's grocery shopping in hospitals or just seeing their neighbors and playing cards.
Bert?
Thank you. I agree with Alma. We've talked a little bit about retaining young talent. Studies have shown that unlike my generation, when we were coming, this is why we can't always say, well, when I was in school, and assume it's the same. When I was coming out of high school, we couldn't wait to get our first car. They've done studies, and kids today, they want to move to a city where they don't have to own a car. That's how much things have changed. So if we're serious about young talent, public transit, economic development, public transit. The studies show when you lay down rail lines, economic development follows. There's no greater investment, there's no surer way to get economic development than public transportation. Environment, public transportation. And so there's so many ills that this cures. It's too important not to do. I don't have to tell you, we're behind the times. In Michigan and in this country, we're way behind the times. In high speed, in low speed, you name it, we're behind the times. We got a lot of tracks to lay. So we need to get with it. We have to cooperate with the federal government. We need a plan to get there. We have to leverage our assets, and it will be one of our top priorities.
Thank you, Dan.
Can't disagree with anything. I think the thing that is so true is if you look at the places in this country that are growing and are interesting and are vibrant, they are the places that have invested in public transportation and public transit systems generally. Southeastern Michigan for sure had better do that or risk simply going away. But as Alma said, it goes beyond sort of that high-end public transit system that we all know is important to our long-term economic competitiveness. We have to look at the fact that transit for many poor people is the grocery store, and transit to many poor people is the doctor's office, or affordable food at a grocery store that's not, just around the corner but charges twice what you'd like to pay. So we have to look at a transit system, and unfortunately, truth is hard to take sometimes, but unfortunately, part of the culture of this state has been one that was based on a falsehood that you can't support the American auto industry and also be about public transit systems. That's silliness.
1 minute.
We know we can do both. We know that communities that are viable can also have strong manufacturing and also have public transit. And, I think unintentionally, many have been of the view that somehow embracing investment in high-speed rail or some other form of public transit was somehow disloyal to our industrial history, and that's simply not true. We need to get beyond that.
Thank you. Next question again.